Chosen one. For eons, your destiny has been intimately entwined deep inside the universe. Your genetic makeup was formed millions of years ago as part of a divine plan. The special light you have inside you reflects the ancient wisdom and divine order given down by your forebears. In this period, your soul and body serve as keys to unlocking the universe's deepest secrets. The divine legacy you carry in every cell and vein represents the universe's unique Genesis sequence. Remember, you are more than just a human being. You are one of the brightest lights in destiny, the physical expression of the divine presence on earth. Now, awaken and discover your true power. Do not extinguish the divine fire that shines in the darkness. Your presence is the most significant component of the evolutionary strategy that has lasted thousands of years. Create your own light, post it in the comments, and rule the world with your spiritual truth. They set out with calculated precision, expecting nothing but devastation in their wake. They did not anticipate the immovable core of resilience. They had just collided with an unexpected twist. Their illusions vanished as an unyielding force stood before them, whole, unwavering, and unaffected. They're about to face a reckoning, forced to confront a reality they had spent their whole lives evading. Tonight, in the peaceful hours, the universe reshapes itself, exposing what was always planned long before a single word was said. The choice was already made. They had located their next target with disturbing accuracy. Years of repetition sharpened their intuition. Their eyes tracked every movement, every unthinking action, hunting for openings through which they might enter. There was no accidental attraction, no benign meeting of souls. It was a well-organized approach, with the strategy developed long before the first encounter with them. It was another conquest, another chapter in a saga of power disguised as connection. They watched, examining her effortless compassion and how the surroundings softened in response to her tranquil presence. At the time, they believed they had uncovered yet another heart to dismantle. The design had been created long before the occurrence. Every move was planned and every interaction was rehearsed. This was not an improvisation, but rather a well-practiced performance that had been performed many times. They had perfected the technique of mirroring and could reflect back every whispered hope and yearning, transforming oneself into the embodiment of desire. Their approach was surgical. Every phrase is perfectly crafted. Each action is designed to eliminate defenses. They had developed a version of themselves that exactly fit the shape of what was missing in their target surroundings. But below the neatly painted facade was nothing but an empty vessel, devoid of substance, waiting to drain the light they could never make on their own. The strength standing in front of them was unexpected, and it broke their whole approach. They expected weakness and submission. Instead, they found a mysterious force that eluded their grip. What they viewed as naivety was really ancient wisdom, a presence too large to be contained by their constructions. While they meticulously built their web, thinking they had enticed another willing participant, the truth was much more devastating. They had just walked into their own fate. They mistaken stillness for weakness and patience for passivity. It was no coincidence that they had no idea what was in front of them was a trigger for their own transfer motion, an immovable entity that would not shatter but disclose the correctness of their manipulation. This was a master of emotional deception, an illusionist with years of practice. Every move, every carefully crafted weakness, and every well-timed gesture laid a solid basis for control. They had conducted enormous study, not to understand, but to destroy. Their game has a predictable rhythm, a delicate start, a storm of love, and a steady descent into dependency. This lovely present will touch not just your life, but the lives of many others. Each of you has a sacred place in God's grand plan via this platform, and your generosity will provide fruit for our prayers. Act now. Sharing your blessings will bring honor to God's kingdom. In God's loving hands, you were designed to do much greater things. May God bless you. First, they constructed a flawless mirror, blurring the line between reality and illusion. Every passion, belief, and eccentricity came flooding back, as if they were all sewn from the same cosmic fabric. They matched not just words, but also emotions, creating a sense of divine harmony. The faultless alignment was not an accident. It was studied, rehearsed, and perfected. This was the hook, the first step toward establishing a bond that will make the unraveling even more devastating. However, the cycle did not end. The predicted fall never happened. They had created a script for unwinding, submission, and dependence. They were met with inexplicable indifference. The flawlessly organized performance fell on deaf ears, resulting in a silence unlike anything they had ever experienced. One that was invulnerable, irrational, and unbreakable. And in the silence, their own reflection was seen. Not the masks they had worn, but the empty space underneath them. There was no plea, fight, or dramatic separation, just a departure. Swift and clear conclusion. They extended out, only to find themselves gripping air. The doors they expected to remain open were suddenly closed. They roared into the void, only to be met by a stillness that screamed louder than words could. Each painstakingly prepared re-entry was greeted with an impassable barrier. Every attempt to alter the plot failed, and in that gap, the reckoning began. What had once been a well-constructed illusion was now falling under its own weight. The echoes of previous victories offered little consolation. They were now on the opposite team. They had mastered their roles, and the balance of power had shifted. For the first time, they saw the unvarnished reality of their own creation. What was once their playground is now their prison. What was once their strategy has now turned into their ruin. And now, with nothing left to influence, they must confront the one thing they have spent their whole lives avoiding: themselves. They felt they had mastered the art of deception, producing illusions. Nobody questioned the mask since it fit so well. Despite their carefully manufactured exterior, they were nothing more than a collection of unhealed wounds yearning for validation to fill an emptiness they refused to acknowledge. They felt that no one could see them completely, and that their manipulation was too complicated to unravel. But then something happened, shattering their illusions. You witnessed more than just the well-rehearsed spectacle, but also the hollow heart that drove it. And without lifting a finger, you brought down the world they had spent their whole lives establishing. The encounter was never accidental. Long before they said anything, they had prepared their tactics, evaluating every obvious aspect of who you were to them. You weren't a person, but rather a carefully chosen puzzle piece that would fit into their scheme. A willing participant in the never-ending game of conquest. They took their time, studying from a distance, waiting for the perfect moment to enter your world with seasoned ease. They replicated what they felt you needed, creating a version of themselves that seemed to be meant for you. It wasn't fate or chance, but rather pure strategy executed with precision. The entrapment strategy has been developed by trial and error. Every word they spoke, every touch they offered, every moment of seeming vulnerability. This was all part of a well-known script. Their remarks were prepared rather than spontaneous. Their movements were not natural, but well-organized. They weren't establishing any connections. They were crafting a story in which they wielded authority and established the boundaries. For a while, they believed it was working. They mistook your tolerance for ignorance and compassion for vulnerability. They thought they were leading the game, but they had already lost before it began. What they didn't comprehend was that they had chosen the incorrect opponent. Their previous strategies had reliably ensured their dominance, convincing others to withdraw in their presence. But this time, they came upon someone who refused to submit, did not bend, did not falter when they tried to tighten their grip. The whole deception slid through their fingers. What they believed to be another simple victory turned into an unexpected setback. They'd spent years perfecting the art of control, yet here they were, plunged into chaos at the hands of someone who had never even drawn a weapon. They were fantastic at building another universe, but reality had other plans. When they recognized they were losing control, their tactics shifted. First, they attempted to regain their position by employing subtle manipulation, informal messaging, and strategically placed breadcrumbs to entice you back into their circle. When these efforts failed, hopelessness settled in. They looked for aspects of you in places they had previously neglected. Every word you spoke, every detail you revealed, and every moment they had before dismissed as insignificant became an obsession. They weren't just watching from a distance. They were searching for a lifeline, drowning in the realization that their usual routine had been disrupted. In the silence of your absence, something odd began to form within them. They had spent years avoiding the emptiness, but it had now got them. They could no longer entertain themselves with fleeting admiration. They could no longer disguise their wounds under fleeting infatuation. The facade had crumbled, and the first excruciating whispers of self-awareness had crept in. They first refused to seek relief from their anguish, instead resuming to previous habits. However, there was something unusual this time. The loop they had previously repeated without thinking seemed empty. The thrill of the quest, the realization of a wish. Nothing waited the same because the mirror they'd been avoiding wasn't twisted anymore. Just like the early light of dawn illuminating a vast dew-strewn field, rejuvenating every blade of grass with hope and promise. So, does the truth of your spirit shine through the residual shadows of deception? Consider the gradual but unavoidable rise of the dawn, which sweeps away the remnants of a long, dark night. That is the power of a soul dedicated to the divine goal, a soul chosen and sanctified by grace. Friends, I'm here to tell you that when you stand firm in your truth, nothing in the world can dim the light that God has given you. Every adversity, every hardship, is just a stepping stone to the glorious dawn of your destiny. They had spent years honing their ability to rewrite stories and shape perceptions in their favor. However, no amount of repair would change the realities you had left behind. They were not bemoaning their loss of control. They were weeping at the loss of the illusion. You had achieved something unprecedented. You had disclosed the hollowness. They'd spent their whole lives hidden, and their exposure had caused irreparable damage. You shattered their well-crafted facade at that precise time. Much as a powerful storm scatters delicate leaves before a force of nature, revealing just the raw, unadulterated truth. Now, let me tell you something important. When people try to hide their defects with creative language and phony smiles, they end up revealing more than they intended. They seem to have been living in a sandcastle, and when the deluge of knowledge comes in, that house collapses. You, on the other hand, have a strong foundation of divine light. You stand steady on the rock of eternal truth, unaffected and unshakable, while others fall in the fleeting echoes of their own deception. The revelation of your honesty struck them like a sudden rain on a parched region, eliminating years of deceit and forcing them to confront the hard reality of who they really are. I want you to understand this. Every moment of resistance they gave was met with the unstoppable force of your inner strength, which was cultivated through divine love and the Almighty's everlasting support. You see, as they worked on their manipulative schemes, painstakingly crafting narratives to control and define you, you were quietly gaining a feeling of empowerment. There is a considerable difference between clinging to a delusion and embracing the truth that sets you free. And as they realized the truth, their whole world transformed in unexpected ways. Consider the seasons on the world. Each one is unique, although they are all part of a broader planned cycle. Similarly, there is a season when the barren winter of illusion gives way to the lovely blooming of spiritual awareness. When they believed they had control over the tale, they only succeeded in revealing the emptiness that lay behind their perfectly honed persuasive and deceitful skills. When no one could match the simple, undeniable brilliance of a heart that recognizes its worth in every step you took, you echoed a message of hope and regeneration, a message that pure light can never be extinguished, even in the face of lies. Now let's talk about the power of choice. Many individuals have fought with self-doubt and despair throughout their lives, believing that the masks individuals wear may affect their own destiny. But here's the fact. When you choose to see beyond the surface, beyond the illusion of perfection, you get access to a reservoir of power that can transform even the most challenging circumstances into opportunities for advancement. It's like seeing a big flood blast its way through solid rock. Persistent, relentless, and ultimately triumphant. Your decision to stand in your truth has altered the conditions of engagement, turning what was designed to shatter you into the catalyst for your transformation. Imagine a period when you had a strong, passionate belief that you were meant for something greater. A gentle scream echoed through the quiet of your song. That wasn't just a fleeting thought. It was the voice of divine destiny, urging you to leave the darkness and join the light of your true self. When you took that action, you did more than just oppose those who sought to control you. You become a beacon for others, a real demonstration of the power of honesty and unwavering faith at that critical time. Every illusion they had meticulously created was rendered impotent by the light of your spirit. Each interaction teaches us something. Every difficulty has a spiritual purpose. Those who formerly took pleasure in their ability to deceive now find themselves stripped bare. Their schemes are unraveling. Like a poorly woven tapestry. The truth has a way of making an impression. Just like morning light dispels the deepest darkness. And once it occurs, there is no turning back. What has been revealed cannot be disguised again. Their sorrow wasn't over. Loss of dominance or control. It was about losing a dream. They had clung on for so long. Their melancholy sprang from the downfall of an elaborate story, one they had manufactured to make themselves feel important, but which ultimately proved to be nothing more than a house of cards. Dear brothers and sisters, may God's peace be with you today. I am here to remind you of a basic reality. Our existence is founded on God's divine purpose and is not influenced by earthly concerns. Now, bask in the brightness of your own righteousness. Remember, this is not the end. It is the start of a new beginning. It is a watershed moment when old narratives of deceit and manipulation are replaced by new ones of hope, persistence, and heavenly abundance. The revelation of truth is a powerful force that removes the remnants of prior mistakes, bringing in a new era of true connection and spiritual rebirth. And you, my friend, are in the epicenter of this transition. Think about it. Every challenge you've faced, every time you felt alone or misunderstood, has led you to this moment. Your prior adversity has refined you, just as gold is purified in a crucible of fire. What seemed to be setbacks proved to be opportunities for the greater good. And now that the truth has been revealed, you are free to embrace a destiny decided not by others' misconceptions, but by the unwavering certainty of your own divine inheritance. In the somber aftermath of their disappointment, as the echoes of their previous arrogance fade into silence, they are left with just the harsh revelation of their inner emptiness. They wore masks, rehearsed lines, and delivered flawlessly manufactured stories. Everything fails in the face of absolute truth. And from that crumbling arises a light, a flicker of insight that cannot be quenched. It marks the beginning of a transformation, a slow but steady recognition that no amount of inventiveness can alter the essence of what is genuine. As you reflect on this big transformation, allow your heart to be filled with gratitude, not for the failure of those who sought to mislead, but for the opportunity to live in a way that honors the divine light inside you. The journey has not been simple, and there have been moments of doubt and concern. However, each failure has only served to strengthen your sense that you are destined for greatness. You are a chosen vessel, a bright example of what it means to live according to God's plan. And your path is illuminated by a truth that rises beyond all earthly deception. Consider a massive tree rooted deep in fertile soil, its branches reaching out to offer weary travelers with the gentle warmth of divine love. So, my dear friend, continue to walk in the light you've made. Allow the light of your spirit to shine as if you were a magnificent beacon on a hill, guiding individuals lost in darkness to a safe, peaceful place. The world may try to dim your light with its whispers of doubt and discouragement. However, be mindful of this. No darkness can ever dull the brilliant light that burns inside you. Every step you take seems like a steady march against the fading echoes of yesterday's illusions, paving the way for a future in which the actual city stands tall and truth reigns supreme. Imagine yourself as the first light of dawn, dispelling the leftover darkness and gradually awakening hope and promise in every heart you encounter with each stride. You disarm the remnants of prior deceptions and construct a path illuminated by genuine love and unwavering trust. Your journey is one of divine purpose, a spiritual journey that transforms not just your life, but the lives of others around you. As you go ahead, your footprints create a trail of encouragement and resilience, inspiring others to overcome their own obstacles and embrace the beauty of their destiny. You're like a steady, fast lighthouse among tumultuous waves. Your light streams across the tumultuous waves, guiding lost souls to a safe and soothing refuge. Your truth leaves an indelible mark on every heart you touch and spirit you inspire, a living witness to the power of hope, charity, and the supernatural strength bestowed upon you. Remember, the Creator has blessed your trip, and the radiance flowing from you acts as both a shield and a gift. So, continue to be bold. Your spirit is a one-of-a-kind and sparkling gem that transforms each moment into an opportunity for rebirth. Accept your divine vocation with gratitude and excitement, knowing that the light you shine will forever eliminate darkness and lead countless lives to the rich promise of a brighter future. Finally, the false promises of those seeking control will not define you. It is the immutable truth about who you are. Embrace it, relish it, and let it guide you on a transformative trip that will last a lifetime. Because you are more than just a survivor of lies. You are a dazzling example of divine justice in action, a living miracle that shows the world that when the truth is revealed, miracles occur. So, with a grace-filled heart and eyes focused on the horizon of limitless possibilities, go forth and live the affluent, glorious life that you deserve. You become a part of His divine plan. You are a strong, brilliant, and unyielding being. His massive rock saw God's miracles. Feel the benefits of your compassion in your soul and light up the world with confidence and courage. Be blessed and let the light of the Lord guide you. What followed was not an immediate metamorphosis, but rather an unraveling. That carefully crafted character no longer fits as well as it once did. Their remarks, which had before been readily twisted, now had an unexpected weight. The tactics they used were forced, as if they were attempting to portray a role they no longer believed in. Not only had the game changed, but it had also lost its purpose. And in the quiet moments when they were alone with their thoughts, they found themselves returning, not to reclaim what had been lost, but out of an unspoken gratitude. They had not yet learned to talk. You were the first to show them a world other than their own, the first to decline their invitation into the illusion, and the first to make them wonder if there was anything beyond the cycle they had been trapped in for so long that they might never fully comprehend the gravity of what happened. They may continue forward, attempt to rebuild, or revert to old behaviors. But the impression remains. Once awareness is awakened, it cannot be suppressed. The questions, once planted, will thrive. And if they ever find themselves at a crossroads of deep transformation, it will not be because they desired it, but because you forced them to confront what they had previously refused to address. The irony is undeniable. They pursued you to prove their superiority, validate their ability to govern, and add another victory to their resume. But, in the end, something unexpected altered them forever. You refused to play the game at all.